Welcome back, everyone. And this week, or this replay, I should say, is getting us ready for Season 2. And what I want to do here is basically, we just finished our 11-3 year. We'll look at draft results here and see if any of our players got drafted into the NFL. And look at that. Southern Mississippi, no data because nobody got selected. Even our guy who... let's look at Alabama and see if they had anybody. Look at everybody in first, second, third, fourth. I mean, basically almost the entire team got selected. And we're going to be in that conference this year. Yes, that's one of the things we're going to do here is I'm going to change conferences. Hey, we got 2 transfer requests. The one to come in, a cornerback and a free safety, a 74 and 79. Not too bad. We'll go ahead and accept those transfers. Let's see. We'll go ahead and advance to the next stage. And go to recruiting. Transfer requests and recruiting. So we had a few players at the end of the last season who still had not signed. Michael Doty, it was a big battle going on between us, but you know what? I got 10,000 points here. I think I'm just going to focus on a few of the top players and put like 2,000 or 3,000 on each one of them. I mean, here's our overview of who we have. We got an F in the kicker, and then we got an F in there, ATH. But that's all right. Free safety, though, we got an A+. Looks like we need a defensive tackle, outside middle linebacker, and a strong safety. So let's go ahead and go back to the recruiting page here in just a second. Here we go. And, let's go ahead and put a few points on Eric Heath. Even though we had the lead, we want to blow them out with just a few players. And so Michael Doty, a wide receiver, I'm going to go ahead and put a little over 2,000. Let's see, on him, 26, 55 for now. And let's see. He's already scouted. He's got 94 carrying, catching 70, spectacular catch 72, running around 71. Hey, he's something we could work with. And a tight end, let's go ahead and scout him. And pass block 68. So he's a little not as good as we thought he was going to be. But we'll go ahead and target him too. And defensive end here, finesse moves. Power moves 80, finesse 77, block shedding 74. Hey, that is really good for a prospective recruit there. So we're going to go ahead and put 2,000 on him and see if we can't pick him up. Cole Oliver here. Let's look at his carrying 64, catching 77, 71. So he is pretty good too for a wide receiver. Catching traffic 74, 76 for route running. So, in stamina 77, speed 81, acceleration 91. So, he's really going to be good. So, we need to go ahead and get him too. So, I don't know about Michael Davis. I'm just checking the rest of these real quick to see. Their overall are getting below 60. So, we'll go ahead and put some points on Michael Davis too. Here, we'll go ahead and see what he's got. The other guy had 70s catching and spectacular catches 71, and he's in the 60s. But we'll go ahead and put a lot of points on him anyway because you never know. We may not get Cole Oliver. We'll see once we advance to the next phase of the off season. We still got 2,800 points left. Trying to figure out what to do. If I should attack Jason Vandermeulen. Let's see. Strong safety coverage. So he's got a 55 in man coverage. Not very good. But press is 68. But how often does a strong safety do any press coverage? you know? So maybe I may just put more points on these other guys I've already selected. Increase it so we don't miss out on these guys here. Let's get it all the way up to 10,000. All right. So we put our 10,000 points on our off-season recruits that we're trying to target. Let's go ahead and advance to the next stage. Advancing to signing day. So we did get Michael Doty. That's awesome, that wide receiver. We got Eric Heath, Jason Vandermuller, that strong safety that was okay. And we got Ian Cutler. So not too bad. We got 4 prospects. And we signed top class in conference for, I think this was when we were in Conference USA. We're number 1. We got 3-star commitments, etc., etc. Now we'll go to signing day. Advance to the next stage. Training results. Let's see what happens with all our recruits and our students from last season to see if they increase any significant value than they were last year. Let's look at training results. So our defensive tackle, he did the best. He went up to an 86 overall. Look at our quarterback, Carter, +5 and +6 for Adams and Cox. Not too bad. That's pretty good. Let's say look at our halfbacks next. Henry went up to an 83 overall, so he is better than O'Neal from last year. All right, let's look at our wide receivers now. Weatherford is just continuing to smoke. Mason too. Lots of good training went on this off season, and we've got some guys in the mid 80s, which I was afraid we weren't going to have any of this year. That's going to help a lot this year. Look at Ron Burks, 86. So we've got some better players this year than we had last year. That's going to help us in Conference USA. I mean, the SEC that we're going to get into. So we'll get to that in here in just a minute. Go ahead and advance one more time here. A lot of off-season stuff that we need to do. Now we have to cut some players. We're 4 over the roster size, and I know we have a ton of halfbacks. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 freshman halfbacks, and let's see that. I think we're gonna go ahead and cut some of the that last one there. Let's see who else we can cut. I am gonna redshirt some of these later on, so we still have 3 over. I'm looking at what their strength. See that guy that Gates has got an 84 speed and a 73 strength. He is going to be good. His overall is only a 61, but that may be in other areas that that we're not worried about, you know, as far as a running back. Could be catching something like, you know, I would like him to be able to catch. A lot of wide receivers here. We're going to go ahead and that last guy, I believe, did it say bust on him? I know we have a bust out here, so we're going to go ahead and cut him a 57 from Corinth, Mississippi. And let's look at who else we can cut here. Let's see, no center, right guard. Got 2. Carter, freshman from Mississippi. Right, we got 2 freshmen right outside linebackers, and this guy's speed is a 66. We're going to go ahead and cut him, and Natch now has us at 70. So I think we're good now for our roster size. Now we're going to go and look at our conferences. We're going to move, since they don't do the automatic invite anymore, we're going to go ahead and move ourselves from Conference USA to the SEC, and let's go to the West. We'll put ourselves in the West. And there we are. Now we're in Conference SEC Conference in the West. And I'm going to add a team, too. I don't want to be the only one that moves in. So I'm thinking I'm going to grab one of the independent schools, and I'm going to go ahead and grab Navy. And I'm going to stick Navy into the SEC. They've been independent too long now. I'm going to go ahead and grab them and put them in there. So let me see if I can find Navy here. Scroll down. Alphabetical order here, so I'm in I's, K's, L, M. Alright. I did not see Navy there. Let me try to find a different way. Let's see. I'm actually looking at other teams that maybe I want to bring one of them in. But I don't want to bring another powerhouse in there. I mean, we got too many. So let's look at the independents here. And there's Navy, 3-star school. And now we have Navy in here. You can see them there on the east. So we're in the west, they're in the east. That's great. So now the conference is equal size, 8 and 8. That should be making an interesting year. And what I'm doing here is looking at the conference rules for the SEC. Just making sure, I'm just taking a look at it right here. And what I really want to look at is the rivalries here. What did it put us as a rivalry game here? I don't see it there. Oh, there we are, number 8. So the new school we just added, Navy, is Southern Mississippi's rival game now. So that's pretty interesting to see. And it's a protected rivalry. That's pretty neat. And I guess next we need to look at our schedule, see how tough our schedule is going to be. It used to be when I was in Conference USA that I would schedule, a cream puff and then a powerhouse school or a power BCS school, in our conference. And here we go. So it's Mississippi State's going to be week number 1. So we're going to start off right in the SEC. Then we play FCS Southwest or Southeast or whatever they are. Old Dominion, which is not a powerhouse, but they're not a cream puff either. So that's going to be a pretty interesting schedule there. A lot of top 25 schools, of course, playing in the SEC. Every game is going to be tough this year. So now I'm going to redshirt some players, get some of these redshirted, so they'll get an increase in training for another year. And by the time they're a senior, we should have some superstars. And what's going to be great for next year is we should, since they're now in the SEC, and if we do well in the SEC, we can start recruiting some 5-star students. But we got to do well during this next year to get them interested in our school, particularly our pipeline school in our pipeline states, because Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, whatever, there's a lot of good football players that come out of those states. So we want to be able to get them to come to Mississippi and get those extra points for recruiting for being a pipeline state, So I'm just looking through who I want to redshirt here. A lot of the freshmen, I want to redshirt them so they can get that training throughout the year and then be eligible for 5 years instead of 4. So just going through there. If I see 2... only the ones in yellow are eligible to be redshirted. So, let's see what we got here. Almost done. I just want to redshirt my senior there. That's my star guy. But it would be great if I had another guy who was in his 80s that I could redshirt. So that guy, that one linebacker, he was a 67, and the linebackers playing are in their 71, 72. He's not going to be as good as they are in his sophomore year, and he's going to be redshirted. So we get to use him again. He's going to be a good player. And that's about it for redshirting of the players. Looking at Justin Arnold, who played, he's a senior this year. He didn't do too bad. We just got to know what our range is. Our range last year was like, if we didn't get to the 35-yard line, do not try a field goal. So let's go ahead and advance to, let's look at the recruits now. Let's go to the pipeline. I like going to pipeline first, see who we can get. And I want to get, obviously not committed. I think we need to get 3-star or better. Because I think, we went 11-3 last year, so we should demand at least 3-star talent. And look at that, we have 323 people, but I think, and let's get it. Let's see if they have to be in the top 5 schools of Mississippi, of Southern Mississippi, before we're looking at it in position. We'll go any. There we go. Now let's do a search. Should be less. So there's only 27 schools that were in the top 5, so we won't be in that major of a battle. So look at that. We've got 4 4-star recruits, including a quarterback. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and target as many as I can here. There's 35. Obviously, if they get too low in caliber and stars, I don't want them. Looks like we're having an easier time than we did last year in recruiting. What I'll do next is I'll look at all states and see if anybody from Texas or, so we just added 27. Now let's look at all states. Let's see, yeah. Any state, and let's look. Top 5. I should have put top 3. Let's see. Got 61 this time. Too bad we only get to target 35 of them. So look, we got another 4-star, 3 more 4-star. I mean, we got a lot of 4-star guys interested in us. Hey guys, we're going to be good if we can get a lot of these prospects. Now I got 1 left here, but I got a lot more 4-star recruits that want to come. So I'm going to have to de-target some of these 3-stars down near the bottom of the heap here, so I can select those 4-star recruits. Make sure we get the best talent. Hey, and I meant to say this before, but if you're interested in getting your name as a player on here, I'd be willing to change some of these red shirted freshmen to some of our viewers' names. So if you're interested in getting your name into the game, I would be more than willing to go ahead and do that. I like to go ahead and put like people I grew up with or my friends' names on there and things like that, so they can see themselves playing the game. So if you want your name as a redshirted freshman, I mean, you may not be playing this year, obviously being redshirted, but in the upcoming years, you'll see yourself excel and get training and then be playing in the game and maybe one of the superstars, and maybe you'll get drafted into the NFL now that we're in the SEC. We had a kid last season who broke the school record for most rushing yards, 1915 I believe it was, and didn't make it into the NFL. He graduated. But hey, now that we're in the SEC, that may all change this year. Let's see if we have anybody make it to the NFL at the end of this year. And I usually am pretty good about making these videos pretty steadily. I finished this whole season in about 2 months, but I could have done it a lot quicker. But I do work and I have a job, and sometimes I can't get to it. But like this weekend, I've made 4 videos and finished the entire season of season number 1, and my next replay will be season number 2. And obviously that's what we're getting ready for right here. Alright, I think that's about it. 35 or 35. We added 8 more. Advancing to the regular season now. And so first real test. We're in the SEC and we're going to get our first real test against Mississippi State, an in-state rivalry that really exists today. No matter what anybody says. And I just wanted to look at the recruits. Our 35 here, we get 6,000 points. For some reason, I thought I'd get more than that, 6,000. But I'm going to leave the recruiting points to the first episode of Season 2. And it looks like, hey, all of them are already recruited, so that's good news. So, folks, we'll see you in a few days for Season 2, Episode 1.